This is a milling machine I put together. I took the head. What happened is I bought a lathe over there, and the lathe was a 3-in-1 lathe. So what happened is that the milling head went on here. Now what I found is the milling head was always in the way of lathe work, and the lathe chuck was always in the way. Also, when I had the milling head up here, this is the pieces you're supposed to go to. You couldn't get the parts up high enough. You could move it back and forth. It just didn't work. So what I did is I actually bought a table, this table here, and so that I could move the work better and it'd be up higher. Then I realized, well, I got the table, I've got the head, all I need is a controller and a motor and a base to make. So what I did is I got a 2 horsepower motor in the back, 3-phase, 240 volt motor. Made the base out of scrap metal I had lying around here. I have a pulley going from here to here, then a shaft going up here, mating with the original pulley, and then I have my pulley set up here. To connect the two, I've got, what do they call those, sort of a universal, not a universal joint, I'll show you a picture of it, I just don't remember it off, slip joint in there. Then I picked up this controller off of eBay. I think it was like $100 or something. It wasn't very expensive at all, right? A programmable controller. This is a magnetic on-off switch, so if you lose power, the magnets stop. So that way, if you lose power and the power comes back on, this thing isn't on, right? So I got this, and then this is the controller for here. So this is run, stop, emergency stop, and this is my speed control. And what I have here for the speed control, it's a multi-turn, so you have to turn it about 10 times to go back and forth, so you can get pretty precise control. On here, what I've done is, this is just a hose clamp, and I put a little tab on here, so that way I can put a dial indicator on, so I can actually measure my up and down and that. I did have to change the pieces in here where the Acme rods go in. I put it into sintered bronze to get a more tight feel on it. I put it on a table. The table's on a cart also. I've got my cable 220. It used to be wired permanently in here, but I moved my shaft around. It works pretty good. It does what I want to do. I'm doing a little piece right now. I'm running at the other thing it has, I forgot to mention, is on the back it's got a resistor, so that way when you shut this thing off, hit the stop button, it stops very quickly. So powering up. So it stops very quickly because I've got that power resistor. Bring her up, and then again. Okay, some of the things I modified on here is originally it had little tiny handles, right? So I made them actually a little bit bigger, and then on the handles I put a little slip piece. This is actually off of an electrical connector from the 50s. It was really nice. So I made this so that way when I turn it on this side here, I put a lot bigger handle, as you can see. A lot bigger one again with a slip thing, and that just makes life easier on this. So one of the things is that if you have a 3-in-1 lathe like I had, it's nothing but a pain in the butt. When you want to use a lathe, you have to put the chuck on. When you want to use the milling machine, you have to take the chuck off, and you're forever taking the lathe chuck off and on, and it just doesn't work. And I said, well, let's just put this on here. It's got belts up here. I've just got the belt set for the most torque, and that's a 1-to-1 pulley down here. And that's about it. It works actually quite well. You can do surprisingly large pieces on here. For what I want to do, it's perfect, and doesn't take up much room. I wanted it to be a small unit that doesn't take up room. 2 horsepower. I can do steel. Right now I'm doing aluminum, and works fine. Thanks.